Good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome to this session and a great honor for FICCI to have Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, amongst us to address the FICCI's National Executive Committee and hear from him about the roadmap of Viksit Bharat and particularly what government expects from the industry. So a very warm welcome to you, sir. May I request Dr. Anish Shah, President, to kindly felicitate the Honorable Minister with a green certificate. As you know, sir, it's a bouquet of trees from us. Because sir, tremendous work being done by the government to achieve the vision. A little bit that we can do is what we would like to hear today from you. But before that, may I request our President, Dr. Anish Shah, for a formal welcome remarks.
Honorable Minister, distinguished guests on the dais, as well as all our members of the National Executive Committee and guests. It's a pleasure to have the Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal with us today. I'd like to start by congratulating him for the awesome victory for the government as well as for him personally. And the significant margin of his personal victory in Mumbai North, Kandivali.
That's his area.
Yes, that is Mahindra's roots in many ways. So we are honored to have the Honorable Minister representing Kandivali for us. I would like to share a couple of thoughts. I've seen just so much energy in all the past interactions I've had with the Minister, and that is something that's going to be very beneficial for us as an industry. The energy that's gone into making India the place for manufacturing. A lot of activity has taken place with the Commerce Department, with DPIIT. And how do we make India the manufacturing hub of the world? Lower the cost of manufacturing, make it easy to do business, and set India as the nation where high quality products are produced. FICCI has done a lot of work partnering with government, and Minister Goyal has been very helpful through all of that. I must also add that he's one of the hardest working members I've seen. I was just asking him, are you getting a little more sleep now? And then his quick response was, no, that word doesn't exist in the lexicon, but I've been in meetings with him well past midnight, and there were other meetings lined up after my meeting as well. So it's one that we are honored to have him in our presence today. With that, sir, may we request you to share a few remarks?
Thank you, friends. Shri Dr. Anish Shah, Subrakant, Harshvardhan, Anand, Ms. Jyoti Vij, and all my dear friends. I think almost I would be able to recount at least 50% of the friends here in this room on a first name basis. Really wonderful to be amongst all of you. अपनों के बीच में आने का स्वाद ही कुछ और होता है. a proud moment for us. The Honorable Prime Minister only yesterday has been conferred Russia's highest civilian honor, the Order of St. Andrew the Apostle. He is the first Indian leader to receive that. And I think something that will clearly demonstrate that India has been able to navigate troubled times, difficult times, with great dexterity, with a lot of diplomatic wins along the way. And as some of you may have seen, even the American statement from the State Department has been reasonably appreciative of the significance and importance of this visit, both for India and for the rest of the world. But great decisions being taken during the Russia visit, $100 billion bilateral trade target being set between the two countries by 2030. And the Far East region of Russia, which is very much virgin territory, unexplored, where I remember leading a delegation in 2019. I don't know if any of you was there with me, you were there. 2019, along with 5 chief ministers and a plane load of Indian industry, we had visited the Far East to explore Indian investment possibilities there. Unfortunately, COVID overtook us and we could not fructify any significant investments or make progress in that. But I think both leaders have resolved to see how India could increase trade and investment between the Far East region of Russia and our businesses. And I do believe it's difficult terrain, very cold, many months in the year, inaccessible. But I think if we intelligently and smartly take the initiative, we may be able to get some good outcomes from investments in that region. Of course, India has chosen not to take sides. We are a part of the world diplomacy to try and put an end to the war. As the Prime Minister says, it's only dialogue and diplomacy which can get us out of this mess. And we need to continue to persevere to find a quick solution to these unfortunate geopolitical events, both in Russia, Ukraine, in Israel with the Palestinians, and the Red Sea crisis, which is hurting many of us in our trade and business interests. Friends, it's always wonderful to be with FICCI for all the good work that FICCI has been doing to further trade and business possibilities in the country. As the Prime Minister says, in his 3rd term, this government is committed to bring 3 times more speed, 3 times more work, 3 times more effort, and get 3 times more the results that we got in our first 2 terms to make India the 3rd largest economy of the world. And all of us are deeply committed to meeting this challenge. We are very, very deeply committed to persevere on the task of reform. The way we've done it in the first 10 years, calibrated reform, reform which takes India to the next level, grows our economy, but at the same time, make sure we grow the incomes of the people of India, make sure that the common man is equally in a position to enjoy the basic needs of mankind: food, clothing, shelter, health, education, good road connectivity, digital connectivity, electricity in each home, improved railway services, improved air connectivity, now water in each home through the Jal Jeevan mission. Going forward, gas going into each home through a piped connection so that we can get rid of that 50-kilo cylinder, which is truly burdensome on all those who are carrying them around. and equally burdensome in terms of the replacement every month or 2 months. All of these and many, many more are slated on the agenda for the next 5 years. Some of the things will be initiated in the next 100 days. We are all eagerly awaiting the budget. So many of the questions you may have will be fobbed off with, let's wait for the budget. But truly exciting times ahead of us, in my humble opinion. Making India a global manufacturing hub, getting India into global value chains, encouraging more and more global capacity centers, capability centers working out of India so that we can increase our services exports rapidly. And the government, along with industry, remains deeply committed to our $2 trillion export target by 2030. It's doable, it's achievable. We have the right building blocks in place. We have a strong macroeconomy to support us. The Indian currency has been pretty much stable. It has outperformed most other emerging markets. My last conversation with Larry Fink, and I was asking him, do you see the Indian currency as a challenge, which used to be so until a few years ago or a decade ago, and people would factor in at least a 3 or 4% rupee depreciation annually when looking at returns, and which had taken expectations in rupee returns from foreign investors. Naina would know that better than me, but at least upward of 15–17%. I think those days are gone. They do see India as a bright spot in the global economy, stable government, stable economy, stable markets, and a resurgence in the collective energy that the country is displaying in almost every global forum. The importance of India in any international negotiations, so much so that the WTO meeting last 3 months, 4 months ago, was it in February, March? Yeah, started on 27th of February or 28th of February, but for the first 2 or 3 days could do no business because I hadn't reached there. And it had become a matter of great concern. Why is the Indian Commerce Minister not coming for the WTO meeting? Until the DG called me up and I told her, look, we have elections coming up here. I can't spend 4 or 5 days in the WTO meeting. In any case, there was a subtext. I had the Bharat Text exhibition, which Prime Minister was inaugurating, which was partnered with FICCI on 27th of February. So I couldn't let FICCI down and sit in Abu Dhabi and she had to go to the press and announce that the Honorable Minister isn't able to come because of elections and he will himself be contesting the Lok Sabha election. Therefore, he's not here, but he's coming tomorrow. And that's when the world got to know that I'm going to fight in the Lok Sabha election. Friends, I must say, the direction in which the country is moving forward, I think deeply resonates with what industry always wanted. You were always looking for faster rollout of infrastructure. Of course, it has its multiplier impact. It has a huge impact on jobs, on the economy, on the consumption of various goods and services, which many of you provide. But more so, it has a long-term impact on the Indian economy in terms of logistics cost, in terms of our own nimbleness in manufacturing and providing goods and services. But more importantly, I think we all recognize that we need to look after the lesser privileged sections of society equally in our effort to take the country forward. We cannot have millions of people who do not have at least a reasonable quality of life. And I think it is that delicate balance that Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the last 10 years has been able to achieve, that balance to make sure that basic necessities of life reach every citizen of the country. We have already announced in our manifesto some more initiatives, expanding the coverage of free healthcare to older people above 70 years. We have already announced that we'll be completing the Jal Jeevan mission so that every home has clean water in their homes through a tap. The piped gas into cities is being rolled out very rapidly across the country. We have announced another 30 million, 3 crore free homes to the less privileged sections of society, and coupled with our effort for in situ rehabilitation of slums in the cities, a good proper home in the same place where they are located and the necessary policy changes that it may entail are a part of government agenda in this term. I think with these measures, we'll be reasonably able to ensure that every citizen has a basic standard of living. When coupled with opportunities for work or jobs or entrepreneurship coming out of the rapidly growing Startup India initiative, rapidly growing infra investments, rapidly growing investments in manufacturing, all of which are creating a lot of opportunities for trade, business, jobs, and exports. I think we'll take this country to the next level. And clearly, we will be the third largest economy, in my humble view, in the next 3.5, 4 years at best, probably earlier. Very, very evident when we go around the world that we are looked at with greater respect than we ever were before. And that is quite an attraction for more and more companies to look towards India. We are trying to make the Indian investment journey easier through working on compliance burden being reduced, decriminalization of laws. But I would urge industry and associations to be far more demanding, to be far more proactive. I'm struggling to prepare Jan Vishwas too. I'm not getting enough ideas either from industry or in my different ministerial consultations. We decriminalized 182 sections in a span of, I think, 42 or 43 laws across 18 departments of the Government of India through one Act of Parliament, the Jan Vishwas Act 2023, or was it passed in 4? Earlier this year, maybe it was 23, the last session. A lot more needs to be done, but we need all of you to come forward and give a balanced view on what is necessary, how it will not compromise on health and safety, how fraud or misuse can be tackled through fines or other means. But we do need your active participation, sharing with us your pain points, both for decriminalization and reducing the compliance burden. I've been saying that on many occasions. We would like you all to really come forward with more and more suggestions. I said that in the last EPC and association interaction about 10, 12 days ago also, but have yet to receive any significant inputs from industry and from trade. For example, Uday, the entertainment industry, huge potential in front of our eyes. But I believe the licensing procedures, the harassment on the ground for approvals, those can be managed. We can have a single portal handling all of that. But we need more of you to come forward with ideas and practical, result-oriented ideas, which I can also take forward in the government system without causing a risk to safety and security of India and the health of our people. The aviation sector, Rajivji, has tremendous potential. I personally think it could cause millions of jobs to come in directly and indirectly through the push we can give to tourism. Take that forward, tourism. Favorite subject of Prime Minister Modi. And I've also been trying to study it quite a bit. Tremendous potential. Untapped. Inadequate facilities, infrastructure, hospitality has yet to come out to the scale that we require. Bali alone has probably 100,000 five-star rooms, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere. May not be that figure, I don't remember. It was a mind-boggling number compared to the 600,000 we have in India, which is woefully inadequate. I think the business people only must be taking up more than half of that. We are not able to attract high-end tourists into India. What can we do to attract? I was in Arunachal Pradesh last 2 days, and I was wondering, Bhutan is called the world's happiest country. Happiness lies in Sikkim, happiness lies in Arunachal Pradesh. 89,000 square kilometer land, some of the most pristine beauty. Jyoti ji should rush there and set up its first five-star hotel. They don't have even one. And not a single five-star hotel. And I was discussing with them. From there I called up Rahul Bhatia. Bhai, planes expand karne hai, batao kya chahiye hamare se support. Can we get more flights from across India coming into Itanagar? And a full new airport is also coming up there. They already have an airport. It's under expansion already. 22 the airport started. Expansion has already started. That's how Prime Minister thinks. You know, we have doubled our airports from 74 to 150 in the last 10 years. And we're going to add another 75 in this term. 5 years, another 75 will be added. So the government is willing to come out proactively. मुझे तो कई बार लगता है कि आप लोग मांगने वाले नहीं बनते हो. And even we've heard that old saying, right? I mean, God gives those who help themselves but also who ask. I'm not suggesting sab puja path mein lag jaye, but I'm certainly suggesting that I'll give you a simple example, my own ministry. I've been giving instructions over a long period of time. Clean up PISO, I don't want any mess, everything online, no human interface. Visitors have been banned, everything to be done in 21 days. And I get very good reports about the progress. Last week I decided I want to meet the industry and PISO together. So, I wanted to use a colloquial Hindu word which rhymes with PISO, but I won't use it. Some of you may understand what I was going to say. But they literally, the PISO officials went into a disastrous framework. You understand what word I was going to say? Kya chhut gaya unka? They were really freaked out, simpler word. And they said, nahi sir, there are issues we want to discuss with you, industry se baad mein interact karenge. I said, नहीं आपको मिलना है तो 1 घंटा पहले आपको मिल लूंगा, उसके बाद इंडस्ट्री के सामने आपको मिलूंगा. I want to hear what they have to say. So they came up with a result के 1,17,000 applications received in 6 months, January to June. 95% cleared, 6,000 are pending. And between the day I asked and the meeting day, another 3,600 got cleared. No, 4,600 got cleared. 1,400 reh gayi thi. I was maha impressed. What a department. But now many of you have done a lot of reviews with me. As I drill down, almost 30% of those had discrepancies which were a discrepancy notice given and matters out of their hands. And then I asked them, why is there so much discrepancy? You won't believe the answer I got. I wanted to sack an officer there, but our sarkari systems ऐसी है कि sack भी नहीं कर सकते easily. वो reinstate हो जाएंगे CAT के पास जाके. Jara media, please be benevolent on these comments. Friends, आप बहुत सीरियस थी, इससे मुझे लगा आप कुछ ऑलरेडी स्टोरी ना बना रही हो. So please be benevolent. Some of this is off the record. But seriously, they are telling me, my officers, that sir, deliberately, people are not giving us the right drawing. I said, is it even possible? They said, yeah, sir, last time they get an approved drawing, next time when they come for renewal, they change the drawing and again mess it up. My mind immediately thought that there must be agents in play then. that agents are probably doing that. It's like the bad old days, you know, when you had people telling you कि तुम्हारा case assessment में आने वाला है, scrutiny में आने वाला है. क्योंकि chartered accountants करते थे, मैं अपने ऊपर ही ले रहा हूँ, किसी और को बुरा नहीं लगे. आपका case scrutiny में आने वाला है, क्या करना है? And Harsh Neutia would literally freak out. He would say, settle karo bhai. So we are trying to clean up PISO. But what hurts me is nobody from FICCI or CII or ASSOCHAM. I mean, I don't recall in the last 3-4 years anybody coming and telling me that you are saying 21 days clearance. You are saying, and I've done this after a lot of meetings with stakeholders about 3 years back, COVID ke dinon mein. You are saying that everything is online. You have barred us from entering the office. In fact, some people in the room asked me, open it up. We want to go to the office. मैं कहा क्यों? बोलते because drawings बड़ी होती है. मैंने कहा easier on the VC. CAD CAM पे drawings आप सब submit करते हो. VC पे you can zoom in. फिर क्या मालूम पड़ा? कि जो WebEx model हम use करते हैं for VCs, that is not supporting drawings. Elementary things like this. But did any of your officers ever tell you they have a problem? Or you chose to get somebody to be an intermediary and get it done? If you did, then you're hurting us. You're hurting the nation. I don't even want to say you're hurting your own business. पर आप जिम्मेदार हो देश की तकलीफ के लिए. Because अगर आप accept कर लोगे ऐसी चीजें इतनी सरलता से, तो फिर हमको कैसे blame करोगे? तो रूम में बैठे हुए इंडस्ट्री के लोग खड़े होकर बोल रहे हैं, I have banned visitors in that department to clean it up, and they are saying no, we want to visit your office, your officers, मतलब PISO offices. That's the pain point that I wanted to share with all of you. I want industry, business, chambers, export promotion councils. I desire you to be more proactive. Not only with my department, cutting across the government. All of us would like to do much, much more. I hope we can receive your support so that India continues to remain the foremost point or place or destination for investments, so that we can truly make sure no citizen of India is deprived of a value proposition in terms of growth touching his life, reform impacting and making his life easier or better, ensuring that every young boy or girl, man or woman in the country has a bright future ahead of him. And therefore, if I can give you a small 5-point agenda to delve upon, how can we converge your interests, your needs with national goals? Can FICCI help us to prepare what will be that framework which will work for our national goals on a better quality of life and a better life for 140 crore Indians, along with your own business and industry interests? Ultimately, we'll need inclusive economic growth. We'll need to see your CSR really impacting the last man at the bottom of the pyramid. So your participation in all of these efforts will truly help not only your businesses, but the entire ecosystem around you, including MSMEs. Second, really bothers me when a lot of people, to save a small amount of money in operating costs or in your costs of product or service, use imported goods when there was an Indian alternative available. Really something which you all need to reflect upon. And there were times when I have found a cost of 0.1% or something like that increasing, but a significant amount of imports being reduced. But companies choose to import rather than buy Indian. थोड़ा बहुत तो अगर आत्मनिर्भर बनना है भारत को, तो हमें एक दूसरे की भी चिंता करनी पड़ेगी. Ultimately, today you're doing it to somebody else. Tomorrow somebody else will do it to you. So if Anish has an auto company and he chooses to import something otherwise available in India, it can work for a few years, can cause agony to maybe a few Indian suppliers. Someday, imported cars will come home to hurt his industry. Sorry, I'm taking his example क्योंकि आपस में हम निपट लेंगे और किसका लूंगा तो किसको बुरा लगेगा. But we all have to care for each other. We all have to think. And international companies are really keen to come and partner with Indian companies, invest in India. I'm off to Switzerland on Sunday to take forward our EFTA commitment of $100 billion FDI investment. Doesn't cover FPI or stock market investments and all, this pure play FDI. And 1 million jobs that they've committed to create in 15 years. As a part of FTA, it's the first time in history that an FTA has gone into investments and jobs. Commitment, I can withdraw concessions given on the FTA if they don't fulfill this commitment. And the excitement that I'm finding in Norway, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Iceland makes me believe that we could actually exceed that if we all are more forthcoming. They will look for Indian partners, Indian market, Indian investors. Third, and this government is deeply, deeply committed and in this third term wants to focus on innovation and R&D in a big way. I think in the last budget also we made some announcements. Anusandhan, Prime Minister said Jai Anusandhan to be added to Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan, Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. So I think it's something which I would urge Indian industry also to be a little more forthcoming. Case in point, textiles has 1,000 crore rupees allocated for research in technical textiles. 67% of global market is technical textiles. Man-made share is reducing. It's more durable and more long-term and whatnot, cheaper also. Can you believe in 5 years, we couldn't get investment proposals of 1,000 crores for R&D in technical textiles? We are ready to give up to 95% of the investment. कोई छोटी MSME को करना हो 100% दे देंगे, 99% दे देंगे. Not getting enough proposals. I had to extend it for 2 years. अभी भी March 26 तक time है. We still have funds for technical textile R&D. This is what pains me, Anish, when I don't find industry forthcoming. तो सरकार 50,000 crore, 1 lakh crore दे भी देगी अनुसंधान fund में. How will it help if you all are not forthcoming? गवर्नमेंट को आप बोलोगे आप R&D कर लो तो फिर तो आप जानते ही हो क्या होगा. अगर आपको वो लगता है तो हम वैसा कर लेंगे. आपका ही पैसा है, टैक्स पेयर का ही पैसा है. हम चाहते हैं आप लोग करें, पार्टनरशिप में करें. So that's another area where collaboration with us can help. By the way, India has registered 1 lakh patents in the last year, a growth from 6,000 in 13-14. In 23-24, 10 years later, our IP office has registered 100,000 patents. 15x growth, 17x growth in 10 years. We are also completely making that digital. Although the IP is already digital 100%. No visitors are allowed in my IP offices. Whatever problems, you can do a VC. We are trying to clean up the system. भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत तभी बना सकेंगे जब आपका सहयोग मिलेगा. ताली तो 2 हाथ से बजेगी ना. आप देना बंद कर दो, सिस्टम साफ हो जाएगा. That's my appeal to all of you. Fourth, of course, linked with that is quality control standards. Quality standards and quality control orders is another way we are trying to take the Indian industry to a better standard of international competitive standard and make us more, both I think it will be cost competitive in the long run on life cycle costs and also help us to stop substandard and lousy quality coming into the country. Very often unaware customers make a mistake कि वो चप्पल ले लेते हैं 20 रुपए की थिंकिंग सस्ती है, लिटिल रियलाइजिंग कि वो 1 महीने में खराब हो जाएगी. शायद 25 रुपए 30 रुपए की चप्पल 1 साल चलेगी. So it's just a marginal difference, but really good for the consumer also. And very often, with good quality, cost comes down, as probably Anish would confirm from the auto perspective. Fourth, we are all concerned about sustainability. You are equally concerned, as are we. I hope we can work in partnership to encourage electric mobility, to encourage the greening. I mean, I'm glad you're giving us a plant every time I come here, and you're right, I may have a forest, given the number of times you've called me to FICCI and I've never refused. But अभी गला फट गया है बात कर करके, थोड़ा एक्शन आपकी तरफ से भी चाहिए. प्रधानमंत्री ने लॉन्च किया है एक पेड़ माँ के नाम. The idea is very simple. A, it encourages people. Suppose, I think Mahindra and Mahindra would be engaging, what, 100,000 people in your company? 260,000 trees with a tree guard and everything. If each of your employees could plant in his own area, in his backyard, in his lane, in your factory, in Sanjay Gandhi National Park in my area, anyway, you plant 5 million. Difference is you plant it. Who maintains it? All maintained by you. Wonderful. So now let me change the perspective. 2.6 lakh ko 10 पेड़ करवाओ परिवार के नाम. The idea is that when you tell the child in the school that this is your tree, in memory of your mother if she is no more there, in memory, in respect of your mother if she is there. So there's an ownership. And we have him tend that tree for a few years. 3 years you tend a tree, then it's safe. So it's more a public involvement initiative. How to get the public into your movement towards sustainability. I think it should be music to your ears, Nena, with all the work you've been doing. But can all of us participate? Can you take this down to the millions of members you claim to have in the thousands of associations under this federation chamber? You have a federation, and मेरे पास तो बड़े fancy figures दे रखे आपने. इतने associations हैं, IMC भी आपके साथ ही है शायद, Indian Merchant Chamber बॉम्बे वाला, है ना? हाँ तो इतने सब chambers, उसके नीचे उनके members, उसके नीचे उनके employees. FICCI should be planning maybe 100 million trees. Think big. That's how the country can be impacted. Bamboo mission. Today somebody came to me, my God, it was so impressive. The t-shirt made out of bamboo, it has bamboo and organic cotton, was to die for. I normally, I don't accept anything. I accepted this from him. Good, I'm glad I remembered. It's a pen made out of bamboo. And Amit Shah ji has been very often very unhappy with me. Whenever we use the regular pen, anybody has the Luxor or any of those Japanese pen which I used to always use, aaj hi nikala hai. The typical pen that, yeah. So Amit Shah, har baar jab meeting shuru hoti hai, Japan ka pen leke aa gaya. So always get very irritated. Today I found the solution. And it writes pretty well, and I've told the guy who came, can you try to get the tip of that pen into a bamboo pen? And I decided I'll accept this and I'll sport it so that I can talk to others. Bamboo has such tremendous impact on sustainability. It produces oxygen and it's also a carbon sink, the bamboo plant. And of course, totally recyclable or regenerative. Nothing to beat it. And there's nothing on earth, they say, you can't make out of bamboo. He was even wearing a watch where except the internal mechanicals, the strap and everything else was bamboo. So, I'm just trying to share with you. Can we at FICCI look at some such practical initiatives? And if each one of us gets involved, आपके सबके offices में uniform देते हो आप? Can that be recyclable? Plastic waste, bamboo, variety of things. Maybe it will cost 10, 20 rupees, 50 rupees more. I suspect not also. Volume में करोगे तो वैसे भी नहीं खर्चा ज़्यादा हो. But so many ideas on sustainability. I know each one of you is doing a lot of things, but we need to make this a movement right down to the last man at the bottom of the pyramid. Can the whole life cycle be captured from the angle of sustainability? And lastly, a lot of emerging sectors that need attention, both as customer and as manufacturer. Now, Anish is a president of Mahindra's and the president of FICCI, so there's a conflict of interest. But I don't have that conflict of interest. I was pained when I saw the numbers of electric vehicles sold in India having fallen in this last quarter. I was truly, truly pained. And I suspect nobody in this room would have possibly put in an effort कि मेरे सब employees को तो कम से कम मैं electric की तरफ move करवाऊं. Then automatically charging system will start growing. Automatically the ecosystem will improve. With scale, the cost of automobiles will come down. अब आपकी कंपनी में 8 लाख रुपए की कार आप एम्प्लॉय को दो या 10 लाख की दो या 9 लाख की, वैसे तो lithium batteries have come down so much that I don't think there'll be much of a price differential. It's in the mind. And this range anxiety is really crap. I was assessing my own car. I have a hybrid. I'm going to, and an EV also, but I use the hybrid. Very hesitatingly, I must move to the electric soon. But bear in mind, in a whole year, not one day I must have used it more than the range of an electric car. Not one day. Plug-in hybrids is another alternative, where the first 100 kilometers is run by battery. After that, you switch to engine. I think 99% of all our travel will be covered in that 100 kilometers. और वैसे तो ऑफिस जाके चार्ज हो ही सकती है, घर जाके चार्ज हो ही सकती है. But as customers also, what are we doing? FICCI comes out with very good reports on electric mobility. But FICCI never encourages its members to use electric vehicles. Each one of us has to look at what we are contributing, other than ज्ञान. Knowledge तो हम बहुत देते हैं. मंत्रियों को तो सबसे ज्यादा knowledge मिलती है आपसे. But where is the action? ज्यादा बोल गया हूं तो माफ कर देना. But we are committed to a Viksit Bharat, a developed nation by 2047. We'll make sure it happens with or without anybody's support. But I'm very, very confident that each one of you is equally committed to seeing India in that Committee of Nations find its rightful place. And therefore, I would like to close by quoting from the Quota Factory. One series is going on OTT. That's my last thing I do at night, whatever time in the night, is watch one episode of one or the other serial. Mirzapur 3 has come out, but I'd forgotten what happened in the past. So before I start Mirzapur 3, right now I'm watching Mirzapur 2 to remember what's happening, what had happened. Bhul gaya Guddu Bhaiya ka kya hua aur Munna ka kya hua. But in Quota Factory they say, sapne dekhe jate hain. सपने देखे जाते हैं, पर एम अचीव किया जाता है. तो सपने देखने का समय बहुत हो गया अभी लेट्स स्टार्ट एमिंग फॉर आउटकम्स एंड रिजल्ट्स. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for a speech that really goads us to action. And I just want to share a few thoughts on that front. In fact, just this morning we were having a discussion on the specific things that we should take forward, examples we should take forward of things that are working well and things that can be improved, and solutions for that as well. And you will see a number of things around that. One area where we've already got a significant set of actions is for every ministry, FICCI has outlined thoughts on a 100-day plan as well as a 3 to 5 year agenda. It's a 78-page book that has been prepared in consultation with all the members and inputs we've got from multiple industries, including a set of transformative actions for India. And in addition to that, there are 4 specific areas where we've got cross-industry teams working on delivering outcomes. Our focus is on outcomes this year. And those 4 areas are Make in India. How do we make India the manufacturing hub of the world? By reducing the cost of manufacturing, by making it easier to do business, and by making India the destination for quality. The second is around women-led development. The third is on farm prosperity. And the fourth is on sustainability, which is what you just talked about. And there are a specific set of actions, including setting up carbon markets, including for women-led development, skilling, and how do we have 10 million or 50 million jobs created for women and do skilling for them. So there are a whole number of specific actions that are going to drive outcomes, and that is something that we will take to heart with what you said. I do want to address your point on electric vehicles because that is dear to heart. I want to highlight the fact that for electric three-wheelers, the industry today is at a 20% adoption of three-wheelers. The Mahindra business is 60%. I did have to add that here as well. But within the next 6 years, by 2030, we expect the last mile, which is electric three-wheelers and the small four-wheelers for cargo, to be at 100%. And a lot of credit to the government for what it has done. The FAME 2 policy has contributed a lot in that regard. FAME 3, as it comes out, will be required in that sense. But beyond that, and beyond FAME 3 and PLI, by 2030, the industry will not ask for any incentives. And that is exactly how incentives should work. For a short-term period, to transform the industry, to give significant benefits. So for electric three-wheelers, that is happening. Electric four-wheelers have a longer way, and it will start with having outstanding products. Products that you can look at and say, I love this product, I want to buy it. I think that's when it starts, and that journey will take it much further, but that will happen as well. And that will happen, in my view, sooner than all of us think. So with that, thank you again. I'm going to request Harsha to give a vote of thanks. Given time, we will take it actually in writing and then correspond with. Yes, so we will help coordinate that and then work with the office to get responses back as well. Yes.
Dear friends, it's my privilege to present a vote of thanks to Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry. India has been an outperformer in the global economy that has been facing headwinds over the few years. We are thankful to you for playing a pivotal role for India's success story. Together with government, Indian industry can achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat and become the global manufacturing hub, and will continue to work towards achieving a 12% global share in manufacturing, 10% share in global exports, and 2 trillion export by 2030. Sir, your talk has been inspirational and candid as always, and I am confident that all our members will heed your suggestion of action and contribute to India's growth for future. With this, I thank Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal ji once again for gracing our NECM today. Thank you. Namaste.